So in hindsight, what would you go back and tell yourself when you were thinking of starting your own business or even on day one?
It's ridiculous as an accountant to even have to say it, but actually work out what your pricing structure should be. Because I know it was quite a steep learning curve for me to have gone from being in large firms where I was charged out hourly at unbelievable rates to just, well, I know I'm not going to charge that. So what sounds like a nice fee for a client? And kind of plucking numbers out the air that sounded good. As kind of very quickly realised that's not actually a good pricing strategy, and coming up with better ways to do it and not being afraid to charge. I think when you're starting out by yourself, it's very easy to do and so that's going to be this fee. Is that okay? And that instantly opens it up to, well, that's actually a bit higher than I'd wanted. If you just say, and you're getting all of this for this fee, it's a much better way to phrase it and just be confident in selling yourself and selling your prices.
Definitely. I mean, if you do have that sort of very open and honest relationship with your client, I find more often than not, they trust you that you're not going to be ripping them off. So in that sense,
yeah,
as long as everyone's happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it's all about. And what was the sort of process for figuring out your prices? Like, do you have a formula, or and how do you account for how wildly different sometimes clients' needs are? Like, how do you bring that into scope?
I have to say software.
Yeah, okay.
Life got an awful lot easier when I started using proposal software. And in fact, I got more confident because I knew that I had something kind of concrete behind me working it out. And it also looks like a very professional kind of setup, and it gives the clients confidence that it's not just been a bit of a back of an envelope calculation of let's go with this. That there is actually a method behind it. Now, I think the mistake that I made at the start and that I rectified fairly quickly was including this price of software, but not telling the clients that was a cost that I was incurring on their behalf. Which then meant if prices went up, I was going to them saying, oh, actually, software's gone up, so what you pay each month is going to go up a wee bit. They go, oh, well, we didn't know weren't doing that. So actually going and saying, yes, this is the price for the accountancy, and then we've got the software. And that splitting it out into those components as well has been very worthwhile. And I think going forward, it's probably going to be more important than ever that if there is something that could fluctuate and influence your kind of profit margins, that you are being kind of clear and saying, well, actually, yeah, you're getting a bargain with this. But we just have to be conscious that these prices may go up, and that might cause an increase in our fee, but that's really the only thing that's going to increase it.
Yeah, that's cool. That makes sense. I mean, I see that as an issue. I'm sure many accountancy practices, including ourselves, have an issue. I mean, even with, I know it's small, but like the sort of confirmation statement filing fee. I don't think any of our clients know that you have to pay for that.
Nope.
So it's just like absorbed, or registered office address, that you're just getting that, and it's not like broken down, and maybe for accountants starting up now, do that from the beginning rather than try to sort of re-educate or kind of go back on what you said before. And what resource do you find yourself going back to time and time again?
I have to say the books by Della Hudson, any of them, for actually working out kind of how to run an accountancy firm. They are constantly, I've got a bookcase over to the side, her books are in my bookcase, and they're probably the most thumbed and post-it noted and all that kind of fun. So kind of hard copy, her books are definitely a invaluable resource on that. And yeah, probably the ones I use the most often.
Oh, I have no idea what they are. So But it sounds like I should know, and I should probably go and find out after this episode. Finally, in this little segment bit, what is your single best piece of advice for an accountancy practice looking to grow?
Don't dismiss any contacts. I think the biggest thing and the thing that took me completely by surprise is how important kind of networking has been, and how, quite often I'll be talking to somebody and I know they're never going to be a client, either because they just don't need one, or they're not running their own business, they're not a decision maker. But most of these people will know somebody. And if you make a good impression and a good connection and a genuine connection, I think you stay in the top of their mind. And then when they hear somebody say either they're not really finding their accountant easy to work with, or they've actually realised they desperately need an accountant, and it is phenomenal what you can do when you're consistently genuine, and that means that your approach and your attitudes all come across to whoever you're talking to, and it seriously increases your business growth.
Yeah, it's an extremely powerful thing. The sort of seal of approval that you will have from people that refer you is so much more. Your chances of converting that lead are so much more if it's from word of mouth. And just being front of mind is so powerful. I mean, I would probably just add, and maybe I think you said, like, don't dismiss anyone, but which I agree with. But what the approach that I've kind of taken is, okay, this is the kind of client that I like working with. This is a business owner who is open, honest, communicative, values my time. Okay, cool. Like, who do you know? Because chances are you will keep similar company. Do you have any predictions for the future of accountancy?
Probably nothing earth-shattering. I do think we're going to see increased amount of push towards the kind of more holistic approach. But timed with that, we're also going to, I think, see HMRC cracking down on record keeping. We're already seeing that with MTD situations, and actually having everything electronic.
Do you think that maybe AI and all that kind of stuff, maybe not in the next couple of years, but maybe in 5 to 10 years time, like, our job as bookkeepers, that element of our job will be taken away and we'll become far more interpreters of all of that data?
Yeah, and I think we are seeing it, already. The software, it predicts what categories receipts and invoices should go into. It gives you fairly educated guesses. So I do think that is going to increase and just get better and better. Partly that's why being the kind of more holistic, rounded advisor is going to be far more in our interest. We've all seen the adverts about you don't need an accountant, you just need software. That push is going to keep happening, and people are going to, well, why do I need somebody when the software can do it all for me? The reason is going to be that relationship and that advice, and the software might do it, the software will not explain it.
And finally, running an accountancy practice is difficult. It can be lonely, it can be stressful. Do you have any tips on maintaining a good work-life balance?
It is difficult. When people set up their own business, one of the things they're focused on is actually improving a work-life balance. Realistically, the first couple of years of business, that is not going to happen. But what I have made a point of is that 3 days a week I do school pickup, and I will finish. I finish at 2:30. I will do the school run. I'll go home, play with my kids, play with the dog, occasionally talk to the husband. But kids and dogs come first. And then once everybody's settled for the night, the computer will come back on, and I'll maybe finish off a few things if I hadn't got them done. And it's not being afraid to utilise time you can. One of the other things I've got just now is my wee girl goes to dancing classes 3 times a week for 3 hours at a time, which happens to be just around the corner from the office. So I drop her at dancing, I come to the office, I do 3 hours of work, pick her up and away. So it means that I'm making the most use out out of time that would otherwise probably be wasted. You know, when you've got a 3-hour time, what do you do normally? You go home, grab a snack, sit down, watch some telly. You know, instead of doing that, do some work. I feel like I've been productive and I've not missed out on any time with the family. But making sure you take days off, making sure you take actual holidays. Top tip, go somewhere with no Wi-Fi and no 4G. Thoroughly recommend coastal towns in Scotland, because I did that this year and clients could not get in touch with me. And I could not check my emails. It was wonderful. So, you know, make sure that you do have downtime, because otherwise it's so easy to get caught up in the, I'll just work on that a little bit more. And before you know it, it's 9 o'clock at night, you've not seen any of your family and you're away at the crack of dawn the next day.
Definitely. I mean, I totally agree with everything. And I think you're absolutely right. Like, we have to have digital detoxes. We have to make the work sort of fit around our lives to a certain extent. But also we have to, I think, maybe be a bit patient about how that happens, because I'm sort of like 5 years into it and I feel like only now am I like, oh, okay, it's just work. And I think when you start, it's not just work, it's everything. Every word that you say is your brand reputation. Every mistake you make, you will fear that a client's going to leave you. And it's normal to feel that way, I think. And it takes, but I think what's important is just to be kind to yourself in those early days of the business.
Absolutely.
Really, really amazing speaking with you. Thank you for sharing all your thoughts and your experience, and just being amazing generally. Yeah, it's been brilliant. Thank you. To make sure you catch every episode, subscribe to the channel or sign up to the Sage Advice newsletter at the bottom of the page.